gentlemen, welcome back to another very special, as always, episode of the Hyper Conscious Podcast. Today we have a very special guest. She is the host of Doing Divorce Right, the podcast. She's a certified divorce specialist, a best-selling author, a TEDx speaker, and she is a little bottle of sunshine. We are sitting down with the one and only Jennifer Hurvitz. What is happening?
Oh my gosh, that's awesome. Hi guys, what's happening? Thanks for having me.
Of course, we're living the dream. We were just talking in the preamble about how this was going to go and what we were going to talk about. And for the listeners, Jennifer is an expert in divorce, but also relationships and sexuality. So we were going to dive down some of those paths. Before we do, tell us about yourself, Jennifer. Where are you today? What do you do?
Where do I start?
And how did you get there?
I'll tell you how I got here. It's really plain and simple. I got divorced. You know, I never thought for one second. I don't think anybody thinks that they're ever going to get divorced. You know, if you ask a room of 100 couples, newly engaged couples or newly married couples, do you think you're going to have divorced? No one ever says yes. Hey, it's me. I'm going to be there, you know. I went to the chuppah, I went to the altar, whatever it is, and I said, you know, let's do this thing. I never once thought I would ever wind up divorced. I started off as a DJ, a dance teacher, a dance instructor. I gave up my life, my career for my babies and my kids, and that's what I wanted to do. I chose that. I was married for 13 years, and then I wasn't. And all of a sudden I looked around and I said, oh my God, what am I going to do with my life? And I took my divorce and I turned it into my career. And I tell people, they always say to me, you know, you're happily divorced. I'm not happy to be divorced. I'm happily divorced. Two totally different things. You know, my ex-husband, I call him my husband. My husband and I are best friends. He's my rock. We did this amicably. I looked at him one day and I said, look, if we're going to get the divorce, we're going to do this right. That's hence Do Divorce Right podcast. And that's kind of what I'm doing. I'm kind of helping people go through the process and actually be able to come out the other side and live a life that is, that's okay. You can do this. You can get divorced. But I also believe, I'm kind of rambling. Tell me, just shut up.
No, you're good. Keep it going.
I kind of believe that if you can stay married and do the work, that you should. I'm not saying to stay in a marriage that's abusive or abusive or physically or emotionally abusive. Get out of that. But I'm saying if you think that your heart's going to flutter 24/7 and you're always going to want to have sex every day of the week, that ain't happening. I think that, you know, people need to lower their expectations and, understand that marriage is work. It is work. So you got to put the work in. And I think I jumped too soon. So that's my first book is One Happy Divorce, Hold the Bullshit. My second book is Woulda, Coulda, Shoulda, A Divorce Coach's Guide to Staying Married. So I've got both ends. There you go.
So when you say you jump too early, how do you know, and this is a question I've asked a bunch of people, like, how do you know when it's time to break up? Is a lot different than how do you know when it's time to get a divorce? So
you know what? Here's what I tell people. If you're questioning yourself, you're not ready.
Interesting.
If you're questioning, if you're sitting there one day and you're going, I don't know, I'm vested, I'm going back and forth. It took me 3.5 years of hard thinking, like, and I still wasn't ready. I think I still jumped too soon. So, and there are people out there, I have colleagues that are that we work together, and we all work in this space right now where we're actually saying to people, look, should you stay or should you go? Let's do some hard thinking about this, because the divorce grass, y'all, it is not greener. I don't care what anyone says. I don't know if you guys are divorced, married. I didn't ask. I should have asked that.
We're both in happy relationships.
We're both in happy, serious relationships, but neither one of us are married.
Okay, good. Well, you know what? We could talk all day about that. Marriage is tough. It's hard work. It changes everything. But, you know what? I think that like people jump too quickly to get in divorce because they think, oh, that grass is going to be greener, and oh, I'm going to have more sex, and oh, it's going to be dating. It's going to be fun. Wrong. It's difficult. And if you have children, it's 10 times more difficult. And that's my stance, and I'm sticking to it. So, you know.
So there's a couple things that I wanted to ask you. I was listening to your podcast, and you were talking about how you like to give people hope when they are getting divorced, because, and I think hope is so important. Hope for a brighter future, because if you believe your future is glim, you're most likely not going to invest today to do the hard and necessary work to make the future brighter. So what can you tell someone who's in the position where they think they want to either get divorced or maybe even just break up with a serious relationship, and how do you, everything's figure outable, right? So like, how do you give them some hope for their future? And
well, my first thing I always tell my clients and my friends and whoever's going through something is that, you've got to take time to get to know who you are individually before you can move forward, right? And that goes for anything. It's a long breakup, a short, anything. You need to know that you're ready to even move forward before you go, right? I made lots of mistakes, and I held myself accountable. And I think that's also important that you own your shit. But there is hope and there is light at the end of the tunnel. But I really feel like that tunnel should be long. It should be a long tunnel that you work on you and get to know who you are before you go into your next relationship, wherever it may be, whatever it looks like. And you know what? And I feel like you have to wake up every day. And this is, people think, they give me shit for this all the time. You got to choose to be happy, right? You've got to put your feet on the ground, plant them and say, you know what? Today is going to be okay. You know, you're going to have bad days, right? But they don't last. And my mom used to say when I was little, I always cry when I say this, everything looks better in the morning. So it's okay to wake up and be like, this day sucks. But then the next day it's got to be better, right? It can't be bad every single day. And so I have some clients that come to me and they're in super negative space. And I'm like, oh, look, you know, let's just realistically say you're going to be okay. It may take a year and it may take, I think it takes about a year. I really do after divorce. But you're going to be okay. And I feel like as a divorce specialist or coach, that's my job as a cheerleader. So
when we look at divorce, right?
Yeah.
So Alan and I like to know why. Why is something the way it is?
Why is everything?
What are some of the more common causes of divorce? Like, I'm sure.
Where do I start?
you can hammer away all of them. And also, part B, how has that changed in recent time with technology, with social media, with porn, with all that stuff?
This is a great one. Yeah. Okay, it's so crazy to me. I don't even know where to start. But so people think that infidelity is the number one cause of divorce. It's not. It's not. It's actually the number 3 or 4, if I don't have my stuff in front of me, but I should know this by heart. But it's 3 or 4. Communication, finances, that kind of stuff that causes major stressors in a marriage. That's communication, fighting, number 1. That's basically, you know, that's the crux of what's going on. But, you know, I'm telling you, like sexual, you know, if you're not having sex, that's an issue. Right. We can go down that road too. But yeah, that's infidelity, cheating. But, technology has changed everything. Everything's more accessible. People are quicker to jump and leap and, you know what I'm saying? So it's changed. It definitely is much different than, I mean, I'm 47. So when I started, you know, thinking about divorce, Facebook had just come out, but Facebook has actually, increased divorce. I want to say by 4%. It's crazy the numbers that people are, you know, ex-boyfriends and ex-girlfriends and just the emotional affairs that people are having, which are really just as bad, y'all. They're just as bad as physical. I mean, they're horrible what emotional affairs can do to a relationship.
Yeah, I went through that in a past I've worked on it a lot, so it's not as bad, but I used to get triggered anytime a partner's phone would go off. In my mind, it was like, oh, we're doing this shit again. But I've worked on that, you know, consciously and
well, it's hard.
Well, it's the level of accessibility is so much different now. Like 15 years ago, if you broke up with somebody, you chose to never see them again. Now you can see everything they do every day.
Don't you hate that? That orbiting crap where people like they don't talk to you, but they're still wanting you. They like your stuff, but they won't talk to you. And then it's just the whole thing is social media to me. You know, I have to have it. We have to have it, what we do and, you know, whatever. It's so draining and emotionally, it's exhausting for me sometimes.
Right.
You know, it's tough.
What part?
Go ahead. All of it. You know, I feel like sometimes at 5 o'clock at night, I put down my phone and I'm like, I'm just not picking it up again. You know, and I think for women too, and I don't know, I think you have a lot of women listeners. I think that we can all say this, maybe men too. For me, it's just the constant, I don't want to say it's just everything's in your face and it's so unauthentic. Is that the right word? For me, it's like everyone's so pretty and everyone's so beautiful and it's the shiny and you know, that's not real shit.
Right.
You know? And so like for me, I'm like, y'all, like, where's the realness and the authenticity of, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's just what's real and what's not. Yeah. And that's really hard for the younger girls too. Like I have a niece and she's 16 and I'm like watching her and I'm like, this is what she has to deal with. It's just really different, you know? Yeah, it's hard.
As a young boy, I remember watching like movies where they would be playing a teenager, like a teenage boy in a teenage movie, but yet they're like a 30-year-old man who looks like I do now. And I could literally play a teenager because I look so young, but I have the man physique, right? So it's like, here's this perfect quarterback dude. Like, and I remember just feeling like terrible about myself. And now that's perpetuated so much, especially for females with things that are going on Instagram and plastic surgery and all that kind of stuff.
Oh yeah.
But I think,
and look, I have nothing against it. Right. But it's funny. Like, I mean, look, I'm all about making yourself. I think if you want to make yourself feel good and look good, that's your jam, do it.
Right.
But for me, it's the 16 and 17-year-olds who are watching the plastic surgery and this, and then they feel like that's what they need to do to feel better about themselves. That's my problem. That's my issue,
I'm a fitness coach, and it's fascinating. I talk to Kevin about this a lot. Like, what people think they want is six-pack abs and a rocking body. What they really want is self-esteem.
Yes.
And
oh my God, I love that. That is so true.
That's what I'm always trying to give my clients. I want their relationship with food to get better. I want their relationship with the scale to get better. I want their relationship with the mirror to get better. I just want them to feel good about themselves.
I need you because I hate my scale. I put it in the corner. I'm like, don't talk to me again until I like your number, because we're not having a good relationship.
so if you learn how to master the game, that's the thing. It will no longer have control over you. It's just an objective measurement of progress or not. And that's the thing that I always want to help people with, because I notice a lot of people have like this fear of food, fear of the scale. And that's one thing that once you realize that you're in control of the game, it will no longer control you, and your emotional connection to it, your relationship to it will be so much better. One of the things I wanted to ask, I talked to Kevin about this earlier. In a relationship, I believe we're either growing apart or we're growing together.
Okay.
At any given time. How do you know, based on your work and what you've seen patterns of couples, how do you know when a couple's growing apart, and then what are the shifts they need to make to grow together?
Well, it kind of depends on where you are as a couple. If you're in, it's so funny. I was telling my ex-husband the other day about this. He was just started dating someone I fixed him up with, and they were like in their like the 3-month, 90-day period. And I'm like, that's my favorite period, because everyone's so happy and their endorphins are up and their rose-colored glasses. And I'm like, I always tell everybody, just wait. 3 months, just wait. The rose-colored glasses come off, and then reality hits, right? So it just depends on where you are in your relationship. If you're married for 10 years, it's going to be different than if you're dating for 3. Right. And it's funny. This is so funny. So my boyfriend and I, we've been together 3 years, which is longer than I ever, ready for this, I had 2 children in 3 years when I was married. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So this is the longest relationship I've ever had in my life, ever, with just being single. So I guess it just depends on where you are, your age, what you're capable of doing, where you are emotionally yourself, what kind of personal growth you've done. I've done so much work on myself now that I think I'm much better at being, I guess I'm a better partner than I was in my 20s, right? I know more about myself. I'm more mature. So I guess it just depends. But I think if you guys, to answer your question, I kind of beat around the bush, but I think if you said you're either growing together or you're growing apart. I love that. And I think that if you find yourself, looking other places, if you're on, the whole texting thing, if you feel like you don't want to be in the room with the person, all that's typical stuff, right?
Right.
I think those are big. That can't be happening. And I think people stay for the wrong reasons too.
What are some of the reasons that you encounter?
They're lonely. They're scared to leave. They're scared, basically codependency. They're just scared to be alone. They don't want to move forward because they don't think there's nothing better out there, or they wonder about the future. I call it calendarizing. Where you look at your calendar and you're like, oh, but Christmas is coming up, and but we have this party next Friday, and I don't want to go alone, and I'll just wait till next March because it's St. Patrick's Day, whatever. You know what I'm saying? Like,
right. There's never a perfect time.
Never a perfect time. Right. There's never a perfect time.
Jennifer, what's the percentage, or like the numbers? Like, you hear numbers get thrown around, 50%. What is the number of relationships that actually end in divorce?
Oh, right now, you know what?
In America,
depends on the age group, but this is very interesting. I don't know if you want to go here, but millennials are actually right now the highest. They are doing the best. They're doing the best. Their divorce rate is the lowest out of all age groups.
Yeah. Why? What's behind that?
And I'm so proud of them, because everyone gives them such a bad rap, these millennials. And I'm like, yay, go guys. Everyone says, and the highest percentage is actually the gray divorce. It's called the gray divorce, 50 and older.
Okay.
So because, the kids are out of the house, these people look at each other after 20 years and go, who are you? They've given their life to their children, which is my TED Talk. Don't do that. The kids have to come second, not first.
Right.
We can go into that later. But, that gray divorce, it's just blowing people away because, after 20 years, you've given your life to everything but your spouse. What are you supposed to do at that point? Right. So that's why the divorces are happening so high in that age group. But millennials are actually doing it right. They're actually having less sex. They take marriage way more seriously than any other age group. And, it's not that they're postponing marriage because they care about it less, but because they care about it more.
Interesting.
It's really interesting. Wow. I've done all this research on it. It's really super cool. There's actually a biological anthropologist. Her name is, oh my gosh, now I'm blanking. Helen Fisher. And she is awesome. She does all this research on this, and she calls something, it's called slow love, where she says that that millennials are actually like completely slowing everything down, dating, sex, and they're taking love more seriously, and they're waiting to get married, and they're waiting to have kids. So it's pretty cool.
Why is the less sex, why is that a benefit versus a detriment? Like, where is that line of demarcation where you should be having more consistent?
You know what? I think that they're choosing their partners more wisely.
Okay.
You know, like when I was in my 20s, I wanted kids so badly. I just wanted kids so badly. And I was the last one at 28. I was the last one of all my friends to get married. I didn't really care. I wasn't really looking for a good partner.
Right.
I was looking for a good husband. I was looking for a baby daddy.
Right.
I wanted the perfect father, and I got him. He was the best dad in the entire world, but he was a crappy husband, and I was the best mom, but a shitty wife. Like now I think millennials are like, I'm going to find a partner that I don't really care about having kids as much as I do finding a soulmate. So they're actually thinking of long-term longevity with this person, instead of like, you know what? They're not so quick to rush into like, you know, having kids. They're waiting. They're like, I can wait till I'm 35 or 40 to have a kid. Whereas I was like, oh, nope, have to have them by 30. Gotta have it by 30. And I did. So, you know what I'm saying? Now I'm divorced.
Yeah,
So-
because the reason why the relationship is happening is different. If one of them is to commit to a long-term partner with someone that's compatible, that's very different than I want to have kids by
Right.
this
It's
age.
totally, exactly. You're so spot on. Exactly. So I tell my clients when they come to me in between like 25 and 35, these young, you know, women who walk in, they're just amazingly amazing. And I'm so jealous of them, and they're just ready to go. And they say, no, I need to have a baby now. I'm like, wait a minute, slow down, take a breath, freeze your eggs. You're okay. You have time. You have time, you know, and I tell them, don't rush, because, the world is your oyster, you know?
So one of the things that, sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you.
No. I keep talking. Sorry.
In fitness, I run into this all the time. I try to explain to people that you don't know what it's like to wake up in the morning feeling like my version of a 10 necessarily. So me, before my fitness journey, for example, I was 160 pounds, skinny fat, didn't exercise a lot, had a little bit of a drinking problem. And I remember when I woke up in the morning feeling like a 10, that's my new 3. Like me at a 3 right now was that old 10. And so what I try to explain to people is like, you may feel like a 10 today, but that's your version of 10, whereas a professional athlete, that might be their 4. So imagine if you started taking care of your body and waking up every single day feeling like $1 million. How much more likely are you going to be able to succeed in your relationship, succeed in your life, succeed in your business? Because when you feel like crap, you don't feel like doing as much.
Yeah, I don't.
Here's the issue. We only can rate ourselves based on what we've experienced. So, for example, my last intimate relationship in comparison to the one I'm in now is not even remotely close. But I didn't know any better because I've only experienced a certain amount at a certain point.
I love this. Yeah, well, that's my book. That's what it coulda, shoulda. So you should write a book, because that's like, it's like hindsight is 20/20, right? You don't know until you've gone through it.
Right. So what about someone who's in a relationship that they think is good that actually isn't compared to what a really fulfilling relationship is? Like, what would you tell me 2 years ago when I was in a relationship that I thought was great that honestly, in hindsight, just really wasn't?
Well, I would say good thing you got out. I mean, I'm just like, here's the thing. You're exactly right, but that is exactly, unfortunately or fortunately, people like us that do what we do, I feel like it's our job to help the people learn from our mistakes. So that's kind of why I wrote my second book, A Divorce Coach's Guide to Staying Married, because I needed 5 years out of my divorce to say, hey, y'all, this is what it really looks like. Because I didn't know what I messed up in my marriage until I was out of it. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So exactly what you're saying is why, we need to keep doing what we're doing and sharing, because I know why I messed up. I know I was a bitch. I know I was emasculating. I know that I looked at my husband every day and said, I could do it better. I could do it quicker. I could do it faster. I know I nagged him. My whole book, I say exactly what, I mean, I can tell you how to stay married. That's my jam. I could help you all day long stay in a relationship, right? But I couldn't do that until I got out of it and looked back and said, oh my God.
Right.
How did that poor man live with me? Do you see what I'm saying?
How did you get that level of ownership to the point where you were able to admit that?
I'll tell you something. this is so crazy. This is just the nuts. I was, and this I tell in my book too, I was sitting in Malibu at a workshop, overlooking the Pacific, and a coach was actually giving her spiel about, how she emasculated her husband and blah, blah, blah. And she was this whole story. And I went, oh my God, that was me. And I called my ex. We had just gotten separated. And I said, Mark, I am so sorry. I'm so sorry. He said, Jennifer, stop beating yourself up. It was both of us. And I said, no, I need to own it now. I'm like, I said, I can't believe how I treated you. And he said, Jen, you were fight or flight. Like, my boys needed me. And no offense, but when they came out of my vagina, they were number one. Like, I made them number one. They were number one and he was number two. Mm-hmm. And that's how I was raised. I thought putting my kids first was what was important. And hindsight, it wasn't. I was supposed to put him first so that my kids saw what a healthy relationship looked like.
Exactly. So how do people out there raise their awareness in this arena? Because when I had a friend of mine who's in a new relationship ask me, like, how did you learn all this stuff? Because I was really trying to help him with all these different things, the love languages, and I have a flashcard of my
love
girlfriend's
languages are
top
great.
cup fillers. Like, I asked her specifically, what are the things that make the biggest difference to you specifically? Because in the past, I've put a lot of effort.
Aren't you a good boyfriend? Look at you. I love it.
Trying. I just don't want to put effort in things that don't matter and then think I'm winning when I'm really losing. So, but the point is like, how do we raise people's awareness without massive failure? Because what I answered him when he asked me that question, I said, honestly, I screwed up a lot and made a lot of mistakes along the way.
Right.
The difference was I learned from each one of them. And now I feel like I'm equipped with the tools necessary to sustain love in the long run.
Right.
But how do people do that without making the mistakes?
I'm going to tell you, I'm going to be completely honest with you. You have to want to learn. You have to want to learn and be if you're just is what it is. There are some people who can never own up, can never, hold themselves accountable for what they've done in their past relationships. They're never going to move forward. They're never going to be like you or me. They're never going to go into the next relationship and say, you know what? I screwed up in the next one, but I'm going to be a better person.
Right.
They're narcissists. They're whoever. I'm not labeled, whatever. Right. They're never going to be like you and I. So if do you see what I'm saying? You could read all the books in the world. You could hand them my book. My book was next to the love languages, on Oprah, top 5 books to read with your partner for a healthy relationship, right? I could give them my book all day long. But if they don't choose to act or do what we're teaching, that's on them, right? But you're right. Like, you have to show up every day and really show up every day. And I didn't, but now I am. And now you are, right? Because you've learned if you don't do it, how do you make yourself better, right? How do you create a good space for everybody, I guess?
We did an episode on commitment last week, and it resonated really strongly with our listeners. And one of the things that Kevin and I talked about committing to is being the most extraordinary partner you can possibly be.
Ever.
It is that commitment that will force you to pick up those books. Why would you even buy a book if you're not committed to that?
Absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely. And you know what? The best is to read it with your partner or to say, you know what? Hey, like, I'm not so sure I'm doing such a great job. Can you rate me 1 to 5? But here's the thing about that. When you ask your partner to rate you 1 to 5 on certain aspects of your relationship, you have to be okay with the answer.
Right. Oh, yeah. Even when it hurts.
Even when it hurts. When they say to you, you know what? You're not really a good listener. And you kind of cut me off every time I talk. You have to go, you can't be like, oh my God, I can't believe you said. You have to say, wow, I'm really sorry that I did that. Or next time I'll do better.
Right.
But most people can't do that. Most people can't do that.
How do you convince? So Alan and I both have systems in place where, nightly and weekly, where we have that time with our significant other to do check-ins. But
love it. I love you guys.
Thank you. But it is. Come on my show. It's not. I don't want to say it's work, because it's not. If it's work, it's a labor of love, and it's something it's amazing. But it could
be work.
Right. A lot of people will say, like, oh, you know what? I want my relationship to be easy. I was in a very.
I'm sorry, I swore.
No, you're good. I was in a very easy relationship where I just had to show up, and that was enough. And I did not want that.
Of course not.
How do we let people know that a quality relationship is going to take quality effort, and that's okay, and to be expected? Right.
Okay, because here's what I'm going to tell you. You never want to be with someone that doesn't have the same effort that they're putting in as you are, right? Your effort has to be matched. Right. So that's first of all. You don't ever be with someone who doesn't give you reciprocal effort. That's first of all.
Wow.
So with that, I always tell people, it doesn't matter how much you like them. It's how much effort they're putting in. Okay. So my clients will come to me, they'll be like, oh my God, I like him so much. He's the greatest. I don't know why he's not calling. Done. Done. And I hold them accountable. I'm like, don't you dare pick up. Done. They're not calling because they don't like you. Do you see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
They're not calling because they're not giving you the effort that you're putting out. Forget it. It's over. I don't mess around. There's no reason. Why would you waste your time with someone who doesn't want to put in what you're putting out? No pun intended. Do you see what I'm saying? But here's the thing. So, and I'm telling you, you guys sound amazing. Like that's why your listeners listen to you, because you are like guys that like every girl would be like, where do I find him? Right. But see, you guys are showing up. You know what I'm saying? You're showing up, but you are doing the work, right? So, and it is work. And anybody that says it's supposed to be easy, I look at them and I'm like, really? Come on. Like nothing worth anything is ever easy.
Right.
Nothing that's worth something, right? It just isn't. It's got to be a little bit of work. And I love that you do that. You check in every week or on a Sunday with a glass of wine, or you sit down every Thursday night before your show and you take a little, hey, you know what's going on? And what did I do this week that was great? And what did you do this week that was great? Love that. Love that.
So we actually do a system where we take the 6 human needs, Tony Robbins' 6 human needs, and we put them in the correct syntax, and then we do 0 to 10 on each of them for the previous week. Yeah. Every single week. It's a game changer, but like you said...
We're not messing around, Jennifer.
Okay, honestly, like all the girls are like, where do I find him?
But like Alan said, that came from repeated massive failure. Like, I have failed in every relationship. Go ahead.
Okay, so yeah, let me ask you a question, not to turn around because you're the host, but like, so how did you get to that point where you said, you can ask for your listeners, how did you get there? As a guy, both of you guys, how did you say to yourself, I'm going to start doing this? Because you see what I'm saying? It's the same question. Like,
just because we interview some of the most successful people in the world.
Yeah.
Just like with business, they're doing something different in business. Just like with fitness, Alan and I we have systems in place, right? We don't miss. And I think that when you realize that most success is based off of the systems that you have in place, why is relationship and love any different?
And this is what I would say too, is any success you see in public is they're doing something different in private.
Right.
And that's the thing. Like, if you want, I'll never forget this quote. I say it all the time. The listeners are probably going to be like, not again.
Hopefully.
James Clear wrote a book called Atomic Habits, and he said, you will not rise to the level of your ambition. You will actually fall to the level of your systems.
Okay. I've never heard that, actually.
So we have systems in place to make sure we have an extraordinary relationship. And we also are fortunate enough to have extraordinary women who are by our side, who also are committed.
Oh, my God. I'm like... I can't even believe this, you guys. Are you women? I've got to meet these girls.
Oh, for sure.
But
Jennifer,
they're remarkable. Absolutely remarkable.
Coming up on a year for me. How long for you?
Coming up on 5 months.
5 months.
Oh my gosh, y'all.
We're very lucky because like Alan and I don't have normal lives. Like we don't have 9 to 5s. We're entrepreneurs.
Welcome to my world.
Right. So it's a matter of like, and again, a lot of our clients are women. A lot of listeners are women. Our team is women. So I know that for me, it was like, I'm going to have to find somebody that's very special and understands like why I'm doing this. Right. So
have you ever had him on the show?
No, but that is something we could definitely do.
We should
do it. I did. You know, I had my boyfriend. This is so funny. I never heard it, but I interviewed my boyfriend. And then all of a sudden people asked for him back. So now he comes on a bunch and he's hilarious. Yeah, you guys should do it. People would love to hear the two. It's amazing.
Well, they're both probably listening to this now, so now we have to do it, Jennifer. Thank you.
edit that out. No, I think I'm kidding, Taryn, if you're listening. I think it would be amazing from the aspect of like you get the one side from Alan and I, but there's another side of hopefully it's as good as we're talking about. But I do think it's important.
Do it. It'd be great.
How are you? So you're unrealistically authentic, and I mean it in the best way is the highest compliment. How did you get to the point where you were so all right with just saying what is and living through your truth?
You know what? I'll tell you, it wasn't easy. My family was upset a little bit at the beginning, when I started writing my blog. But here's the thing. I don't know. This is so stupid. I don't know how to be anything but who I am. And it can either bother you. You can either like it or you don't, but it's just, I'm not going to apologize. I just can't. And, I feel like my listeners wouldn't even come close to my podcast if I wasn't who I am. And my relationship with the people who do like me and who listen to me, I value it so deeply. And I love what I do. So it just comes from a place of my heart. I don't know. I don't know how to be anything else but real. You know what I'm saying?
I love it.
Thank you. I don't know how to do it.
Has it always been that way for you?
You know what? I think when I was younger, I was a people pleaser. I grew up in a house where, you don't air your dirty laundry and you just smile and you do what you're supposed to do. My parents are amazing and they're great. They're great. But I grew up, in a Jewish home and I was the firstborn and I was perfect at everything and everything had to be perfect. And I walked out of the house and I wasn't allowed to say no to anybody. And that really hurt. It really hurt me, it really hurt me. And, I went to Michigan State and had some really, really tough times, big school. And I was young when I went to college and, I realized that I had to say no and I had to learn how to say no quickly and I had to do it fast or I was going to be taken advantage of in way too many situations. And I got real with myself and I said, you know what, Jen, something's got to change. You've got to own, you've got to stand up for yourself. And I did. And this is where I am. I just figured that it's either one or the other.
Right.
It's either I'm going to be super quiet and not say a word or I'm going to just blow up. And I did. I blew up. So, that's it.
Our listeners struggle to express their true feelings sometimes. I know I do. I know Kevin does
hard.
As well. It's difficult sometimes. And that's one of the top regrets of the dying. And expressing your true feelings, especially when you care deeply, is one of the hardest things. So I'm glad you shared that. Thank you.
Yes, we appreciate you. All right, so we have 2 questions that we like to ask every guest before we let them escape the hyperconscious gauntlet.
Okay.
Mine is a simple one.
Oh, good.
What do you hope to accomplish before you die?
Oh, my God, really? Oh, my gosh. Okay, before I die. Well, can I just be real?
Absolutely.
Can I be real?
I expect nothing less.
Yeah, I know, right? I don't know why I preface it. Hope to accomplish. There's so much. I don't know where I would. I don't know. In my career, I would love my TV show to be picked up. I've been working at my pilot, and it wins all these awards. And I've been shopping my TV show for 5 years. It's driving me nuts. That would be amazing. And I think just my health, I know that sounds crazy, my health, I just want my boys to be happy. I think what I did to them, we could go down this road forever, hours. I think anybody that says that kids are resilient during divorce, is full of shit. What I did to my boys, and I'm in the happiest divorce there possibly could be ever. My ex are really, and we're great friends. We've never had a problem, and it's still awful for them. They're teenagers and they're amazing, but I just hope that they come out okay. So, before I die, I would like to see them that just really authentically happy. That would make me happy. So
I appreciate your vulnerability so much.
Yeah.
Wow. Powerful answer. Authentically happy.
That's
so
it.
now for my question. So I believe we grow and evolve and we change a lot throughout our life, but I believe there's a part of us that never changes. So I wear this North Star around my neck, and that's what that represents, the part of me that never changed, my mission, my purpose. For you, what about you never changed?
Never changed. Never changed. Never changed. I think probably the dorky, kid in me. I think that I'm just a big dork, and I think I don't show that as much as I possibly as I do. But I think I'm just, my kids are probably, they say a weird mom makes you, what is it? Gives you character. I think I'm just a total dork. I just think I don't think I'm ever going to grow up. I think that's going to stay with me forever. I hope. So
a weird
is that
mom
an answer?
Builds character. I dig it.
A weird mom builds character. My kids are like, "Oh, you're the cool mom." I always wanted to be the cool mom, I think I'm the weird mom.
I told Alan when we were
trying to be the cool mom, end up the weird mom.
I told Alan when we were texting, I was like, I really like Jennifer's energy. Because you said, I was like, yeah, we'll call you on FaceTime. And you're like, so when should I get on Facebook? And then you were just like, I'm sorry, I'm an idiot. And I could just tell that, like, you have really good energy. And I thought this was an amazing interview. So before we go, I want to make sure that you can tell people where to find you if they enjoyed this as much as we did. Tell them all about you, of course.
Gosh. Well, it's pretty easy. I'm Jennifer Hurvitz with the V. Sometimes people go Hurwitz and it's not. It's Hurvitz with the V. JenniferHurvitz.com. I'm all over the place. I don't know. Just you can Google me, and it's very embarrassing for my family. I just pop up everywhere. And yeah, so I don't know. Just reach out, and if you want to find me and reach out to me, I'm coaching, and I'm, I don't know, do my thing. And
where can they get your books?
Oh my gosh, everywhere. Amazon, Barnes & Noble. I have 2 of them. One Happy Divorce, Hold the Bullshit, and Woulda, Coulda, Shoulda, A Divorce Coach's Guide to Staying Married. I have a TED Talk in April. If I make it to the stage, I'm not sure. It's horrifying. And that's it. I just loved this. This is awesome. Can you guys come on my show, please?
Yes, absolutely. I feel compelled to say something. Your book is Woulda, Coulda, Shoulda. Well, would be's, could be's, and should be's don't produce no honey. And neither do wannabes.
We were doing so good.
I know. We were doing so
That was awesome.
I had to.
Jennifer, is there anything you could leave the listeners with, like a 10-second blip about, let's do it about relationships, right? A 10-second blip on
Here's a good one. Don't stop trying to find the right partner. Try and be the right partner. How's that?
Oh, wow.
That's fire.
There we go.
Interesting.
I stole that from a good friend of mine, David Glass. He's amazing. He taught me that one day. Stop trying to find the right partner. Try to be the right partner. Right. My favorite quote.
And then
I love it.
You'll attract what you are.
There you go. That's right. That's right.
Well, Jennifer, thank you so very much for joining us. This was
thanks for having me.
Of course. We will definitely do this again in the future because obviously we didn't go into your story a ton, and there's definitely more stuff to chat about, and we would love to be on your show as well.
Oh, I love it. I'll send you the link.
Looking
Bye,
forward
guys.
to it.
Ladies and gentlemen, Jennifer Hurvitz.
Talk to you soon.
Bye.